Hey, and good morning. Well, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on when you are watching this. But welcome back to My Two Cents, another episode here with me, Les, your host. And this episode is entitled Useless Information That I Learned from Memes. Surely you guys know what memes are, right? They're the little pictures with either like the writing or a joke or the information on it that's typed that tells you something that you previously would not have known. These have, obviously everyone has seen them, heard of them, whatnot. And they're just a sensation. And for me, they're like an addiction. Like I have a whole collection of these things that I keep on my phone for a rainy day or as startup conversations and chats or to post on timelines on Facebook or whatever. It's just, they're funny and amusing and I find them highly entertaining. But what you don't realize is how much information from these things that you actually retain. Like, I am like a sponge these days. Like if you squeeze me hard enough, useless information just pours out. And it's great for starting conversations because I can walk up to anyone and say, hey, did you know that if you put your finger in your ear like this and scratch up and down, that it sounds like Pac-Man? Yeah. And it really works and people actually try it, believe it or not. So, yeah. Well, so I decided last night that I would go through my memes that I have and share with you some that I find most highly entertaining and, so that we can all have a laugh together. Like, one of my favorites is the fact that I learned that hummingbirds can't walk. Seems simple enough, right? Well, you know that a hummingbird is the only bird that can fly backwards, frontwards, and sideways. I think sideways. I know they can fly backwards, but they can't walk or hop like other birds do. Who would have known, right? So I would never have known this unless I had seen it on a meme, interestingly enough. I also learned that golf balls have an average number of 336 dimples in them. Now, who in their right mind would ever need to know that, right? Maybe it plays into something with golfers? I really don't know. Since I don't play golf, I would be more like Happy Gilmore and slinging the golf club around and injuring people. But for some reason, someone knows this. How they got all of those counted without getting confused on which dimple they were on, I don't know. But, there it is. I also learned that raccoons are very smart and that they can open complex locks under 10 tries and still repeat the process if the locks are rearranged or turned upside down, and they will also remember solutions to problems for up to 3 years. We all knew raccoons were smart, right? But who ever thought that they were like on small-time criminal scale smart? That's like misdemeanor smart. Like breaking and entering. I knew that they could remember which trash can had the best garbage in it at which house and how to open the lid, but I never in a million years dreamed that they would know how to pick, locks and stuff. Who knew? Not me. So the next one that we have is that tigers have striped skin underneath their striped fur, which technically I guess would make sense, but it also kind of makes you wonder, well, if that's the case, then why don't dark-headed people have dark skin on their scalps and blonde-headed people have light skin on their scalps? I don't know. Weird. The next one is that the stereotypical heart shape was actually meant to be two human hearts, which is like, over here, kind of like, that were fused together. So a heart over here and a heart here fused together to make that shape that we all know as a heart. It's kind of disturbing, but okay. Wonder who thought that up. The next one makes me realize that I must be a genius or a freak of nature? Because it's supposed to take the average person 7 minutes to fall asleep. Well, that means I'm definitely not average. Whether I'm above average or below, I haven't quite figured that out. But it takes my brain like forever to fall asleep. Like 9,000 position changes, like I'm sitting there having conversations in my head, going over comedy shows to myself inside my brain where I am the only where I'm the only audience member. So, definitely I don't fall asleep in 7 minutes. Do you? Really? Seriously? Who does that? I envy people who can go to sleep in 7 minutes. Doesn't happen with me. The next one is that there is only one word in the English language that rhymes with purple. The word is kerple, and it means the rump or butt of a horse. Who would have known that? Did you ever learn the word kerple in your vocabulary in school? Because I know I didn't. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that a horse's butt was called a kerple. Okay. So the next thing, which could be quite useful to know if you're cooking a lot in the kitchen, is that non-dairy creamer is actually flammable. So that could save a lot of kitchen fires, especially if you're one of those people that burns water. Luckily, I can cook rather well, so I know generally which things are flammable and which aren't, but I did not know this. So this could be handy. The next one is that almonds are members of the peach family, which I guess kind of makes sense considering they look a little bit like the pit of a peach. I don't know. Next is that more than 10 people are killed a year by vending machines. Now, it doesn't specify whether it's the fact that they had a heart attack because they're eating the food inside them, or whether or not they're shaking them to get their food out and the vending machine falls on top of them. It really doesn't specify, but good to know. The founder of the Pringles Corporation, the chips that come in the jars, he was buried inside a Pringles can. That's slightly disturbing. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's poetic in some way. But literally, if I ever design something like anything, don't bury me in it. Okay, in the state of Ohio, in 1895, there were only 2 cars on the road. And the drivers of these 2 cars somehow managed to crash into each other. You're the only 2 cars in the state. Really? And you're going to have a car crash? There are how many trees compared to that one other car? And you choose to hit the car? Wow. Okay. So, this I found rather interesting because you know how when you see photos taken underwater, they're always blue or have a blue hue to them? Well, here's the explanation as to why. So the water above divers is all, it seems to be all red and yellow light filtering through it, making everything appear to have the blue hue. And diving with an artificial light source will allow you to see the true colors that are under the water. Who would have thought? The next one is kind of fascinating, but disturbing at the same time. Did you know that Coca-Cola would be green if food coloring wasn't added to the syrup to make it the brown color? Can you imagine opening up a Coke in the morning and taking a big drink of what looks like watery snot? Because that's what green drinks kind of remind me of. It's just kind of gross. I can't do green things very well because it reminds me of nasal leakage. Ew. So now that's going to be forever embedded in my mind. The next one is that before erasers on pencils, bread was used to remove pencil marks. Never would have known that either. Like, I can't imagine a piece of bread being on the end of my pencil. Kind of puzzling. Next, that when the divorce rate goes up in the United States, toy makers report that the sale of toys goes up also. This is a really sad fact that I learned from a Mimi, actually. I mean, that's like trying to mend your kids' broken hearts over your divorce with a toy. Like, why isn't it that the counseling rates go up? Or, that, I don't know, playing at the park or something, but like instead you try to buy your children's comfort? That doesn't seem logical or even slightly okay. Like, where's the support system in the toys? Does this mean that parents are too worried about their own feelings to worry about the feelings of their children? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not sure on this. This could be a really touchy topic because, yeah, it's good to get your kids' minds off of it, but is it really the route that you would rather go? Like, it seems to me like teaching them that things don't always work out and being there for them in, a more supportive way would be better. I don't know. So the typical lead pencil can draw a line at least 35 miles long. Now, whoever decided that they wanted to try this out, to figure it out, I give my props to you because, wow. Now, this is highly disturbing. A leech has 32 brains. Humans only have one, and we only use 10% of it. Does that mean that leeches are smarter? Or, can you imagine what humans could do with 32 brains, even if we only use 10%? A person will create enough saliva to fill 2 average-sized swimming pools in a lifetime. Can we say gross? Alien hand syndrome is an unusual neurological disorder also known as Dr. Strangelove syndrome, whereby one of the sufferer's hands seems to take a life of its own. And here I thought that guy who goes around grabbing butts, was just a moron. No, maybe he has Dr. Strangelove syndrome. If a lot of people knew this, men and women combined, both equally, I can see this being used as a big excuse for, theft or, sexual harassment or anything else. Oh, I'm sorry, I have alien hand syndrome. Right. So a portion of the water that you drink has already been drank or drunk by someone else and maybe several other times. Do you realize the emphasis of what this says? Let me break it down for you. When you drink water and you pee in your toilet and you flush it, it goes to a water treatment plant where they supposedly remove the toxins and treat it and put it back in your faucet for you to drink again. That water doesn't come back to your house necessarily. It goes to any house in that district using that water system. So basically, we are all drinking each other's toilet water. Ew. Newborn babies can only see in black and white for a few months. I didn't know this, but it does kind of make sense as to why it takes them so long to kind of pick up on things. Well, that is about it for this episode. I will continue to learn new, interesting, entertaining information from Mimis, and I will pass it along to you guys. In the meantime, if you know any useless information, please leave it in the comments because I find useless information highly entertaining, and I would love to expand my useless information knowledge base. So, you guys keep watching, give me some likes, subscribe, and, we will make another video soon. Peace for now. I'll check you later. Bye.